Director.
Thank you. It is almost 3 now.
Must you go? Oh, young hare, must you go?
Yes, I'm engaged on important business.
Do you know what day it is?
The 4th of May.
Oh, yes, I know that, but do you know what day it is?
I don't understand.
It is the eve of St. George's Day. Do you not know that tonight when the clock strikes midnight, all the evil things in the world will have full sway? Do you not know where you are going and what you are going to?
Look, there is business to be done, and I can allow nothing to interfere with it.
For your mother's sake.
What are they doing?
It is a charm against the evil eye.
Quickly, we must be on our way. Now we're less than time. There's no carriage. English hair was not expected after all. It's on the boat Covina, and shall return tomorrow or the next one. Better the next one.
You are early tonight, my friend.
The English hair was in a hurry.
Do not deceive me, my friend, for I know too much, and my horse is lost.
Born and dead, travel fast.
You will come. I will do it.
Count Dracula?
I am Count Dracula. I pray, be seated, and sup like you please. You will excuse me, but I do not join you, for I have dined already, and I am not sorry.
Here are the papers for the purchase of the property you desire. Please look them over while you eat.
This is the children of the night. What music they make. Ah, you, sir. You dwellers from the city cannot enter the feet of the hunter. But come, tell me of your property.
The estate is called Carfax. It is surrounded by a solid stone wall. There are many trees on it, which make it places bloom. The house is very large and old. Parts look like an old keep, and it has an old chapel. There are but few houses close at hand, one being a large house, only recently added to, and formed into a private lunatic asylum.
I am glad that it is old and big. I myself am from an old family, and to live in a new house would kill me. I rejoice also that there is a chapel for old times. Transylvania roads love not to think that our bones may lie amongst them common dead. shadow, and would be alone with my thoughts when I'm there. But come, you must be tired. Your bedroom is ready, and tomorrow you shall sleep in it as late as you wish, for I have to be away till the afternoon comes. That reminds me, you may go anywhere you wish in the castle, except to where the doors are locked, where of course you will not wish to go. But however, let me warn you with all seriousness that should you leave these rooms, you will not go to sleep in any other part of the building. It is old and has many memories. There are bad dreams for those who sleep unwisely. Be warned that you should sleep now wherever overcome you. Then hasten to these rooms, for then your sleep will be still. If you are not careful in this respect, then
Jonathan Harper, the 16th of May. God preserve my sanity, for to this I am reduced. Safety and the assurance of safety are things of the past. Whilst I live on here, there is but one thing to hope for, and I may not go mad, if indeed I be not mad already. If I be sane, then surely it is maddening to think that of all the foul things that lurk in this hateful place, the Count is the least dreadful to me, that to him alone I can look for safety, even though this be only whilst I can serve his purpose. Great God, merciful God, let me be calm, for out of that way lies madness indeed. I begin to get new lights on certain things which have puzzled me. Up to now, I never quite knew what Shakespeare meant when he made Hamlet say, "My tablets, quick my tablets, 'tis meet that I put it down." For now, feeling as though my own brain were unhinged, or as if the shock had come which must end in its undoing, I here record what happened. Through exploring the castle, I became aware that I'm a prisoner and cannot get out. This made me scared, but also angry, so I decided to explore further and then defy the Count's orders to sleep only in my chambers.
I feel strangely sleepy. Perhaps I should go back. But this room, so nice, just has a woman's touch. I'm so sleepy. Perhaps I should just take a short nap.
Zella kisses for us all.
How dare you touch him, any of you? How dare you cast eyes upon him when I have forbidden? Back, I tell you all, this man belongs to me. Beware how you meddle with him, or you shall deal with me.
You yourself never loved. You never loved.
Yes, I too did love. You yourselves can tell it from the past. Is it not so? Well, now I promise you that when I am finished with him, you shall kiss him as you will. But go, there is work to be done.
Nothing tonight?
Else.
The next morning, the Count leaves for London aboard a ship called the Demeter. He takes with him 50 boxes of dirt, filled with hallowed soil, for he can sleep. He leaves Jonathan locked inside. He makes this final journal entry. The door is shut, the chains rattle. There is a grinding of the key in the lock. I am alone in the castle with those horrible women. No, Mina is a woman and there is not in common. They are devils in it. I shall not remain alone with them. I shall try to scale the castle wall farther than I have yet attempted. I shall take some of the gold with me, lest I want it later. I may find a way from this dreadful place. And then, away from home, away to the quickest and nearest train, away from the cursed spot, from this cursed land, where the devil and his children still walk with earthly feet. And if I fall, at least God's mercy is better than that of those monsters. For
love me in time? Do you love another? But your heart is free, a man might have hope.
Yes, I love you.
Lucy, I wish you happiness. If you ever need a friend, you must count me as one of your best.
Miss Lucy, no, I ain't good enough to regulate the fixings of your little shoes, but I guess if you find a man that is, you'll... Rode together, driving in double harness.
I do not know any.
Lucy, you're an honest-hearted girl. I know. I should not be speaking to you here now as I am if I did not believe you clean grit right through to the very depths of your soul. Tell me, like one good fellow to another, is there anyone else that you care for? And if there is, I won't trouble you a hairbreadth again. But if you let me, be a very faithful friend.
Yes, there is someone I love. No, he has not even told me yet that he loves me.
That's my brave girl. It's better being late for a chance of winning you than being in time for any other girl in the world. Don't cry, my dear. If it's for me, I'm a hard nut to crack and I take it standing up. But if that other fellow doesn't know his happiness, he better look for it soon or he'll have me to deal with.
Lucy, my dear, I have been trying to get you alone for several days because I want to tell you that I have fallen in love with you. My life would be complete and happy if you would consent to marry me. Will you marry me, Lucy?
Yes, Arthur, I love you.
August. One of the greatest and suddenest storms on record has just been experienced here, with results both strange and unique. The wind roared like thunder and blew with such force that it was with difficulty that even strong men kept their feet. In the midst of the storm, a Russian ship, the Demeter, ran aground. The Demeter had no one left on board alive, and it lashed to the helm with a corpse. A great awe came on all as they realized that the ship, as if by a miracle, had found a harbor, unsteered save by the hand of a dead man. But, strangest of all, the very instant the shore was touched, an immense dog sprang up on deck from below, as if shot at by the concussion, and running forward jumped from the bow on the sand. The Demeter carried only a small amount of cargo, a number of great wooden boxes filled with dirt. The lot of the ship was very strange and disturbing. It appears the trip suffered many tragedies, and the crew, or at least some of them, felt there was someone or something evil aboard. The stowaway was described as a tall, pale, thin man who is not like any of the crew.
I am so happy to see you. I am so happy for your engagement. Thank you. Arthur's a wonderful man, and I am lucky to have him. It is so exciting that we are both prepared for marriage at the same time.
Yes, we both are fortunate to have found good men, although I'm quite worried about Jonathan.
You still have not heard from him?
No, not
She's from his sister Agatha, at a hospital in Budapest. It says Jonathan has been extremely sick with brain fever and has suffered some sort of horrible shock. He needs me. I must go at once.
It must irritate Nina and keep writing me down. Last night, I seemed to be dreaming again. It is all dark and horrid to me, for I can remember nothing. But I am full of vague fear. I feel so weak and worn out. When Arthur came to lunch, he looked quite grieved when he saw me, and I had the spirits trying to be cheerful. I wonder if I could sleep in Mother's room. I shall make an excuse to try. 25th of August. Another loud night. Mother did not seem to take to my proposal. She seems not too well to herself, and doubtless she fears to worry me. I tried to keep awake, and so stayed for a while, but when the clock struck 12, it wakes me from a doze, so I must have been falling asleep. There was a sort of scratching or flapping at the window, but I did not mind it, and as I remember no more, I suppose I must have fallen asleep. More bad dreams. I wish I could remember them. This morning I am horribly weak. My face is ghastly pale, and my throat pains me. It must be something wrong with my lungs, for I don't seem to be getting air enough. I shall try to cheer up when Arthur comes, or else I know he will be miserable to see me so.
Letter from Arthur to Dr. Seward. I want you to do me a favor. Lucy is ill. That is, she has no special disease. But she looks awful and is getting worse every day. I have asked her if there's any cause, and I dare not ask her mother, for to disturb the poor lady's mind about her daughter and her present state of health would be fatal. I am sure that there is something preying on my dear girl's mind. I told her I should ask you to see her, and she consented. It will be a painful task for you, my old friend, but it is for her sake, and I must not hesitate to ask, or for you to act. You are to come to lunch at Hillingham tomorrow, 2 o'clock, so as not to arouse any suspicion in Mrs. Westerner's mind. And after lunch, Lucy will take an opportunity of meeting with you. I am filled with anxiety and want to consult you alone as soon as I can after you have seen her. Do not fail.
After examining Lucy, Seward is very concerned.
He can see she is pale and weak, but cannot find a cause. He calls upon his old master and friend, Professor Van Helsing, of Amsterdam, who knows as much about obscure diseases as anyone in the world. They tend Lucy for several weeks, and she improves, and then gets worse. They conclude she is losing blood, but don't know the cause. She is given blood several times in an effort to save her. They vow not to leave her alone at night, but a missed communication results in her being left alone again. The action resumes as Seward and Van Helsing rush to Lucy's house to save her.
I'm just now arriving. Did you not get my telegram? How's our patient? I'm too late. I was about to tell her early this morning, but I have not lost a minute in coming here. And I fear we are too late. God's will be done. God to Him, what has she done? What has this poor thing done that we are so sore beset? Oh, we are beset. We need another transfusion of blood, and that faster or life won't be worth another hour's work. You and I have already engaged. So where will we turn for a man who will open his veins for her?
What's the matter with me?
Mr. Lawrence, God be praised. A brave man's blood is the best thing on earth when a woman is in trouble. You are a man, and no doubt about it. We must quickly, Quincy. You're in a stand-up fight with death. If that were all, I would stop right here where we are now and let her fade away into peace. For I see no light in life. But I am able to realize it. Let's begin.
Have another transfusion of blood, and that both you and me are exhausted. I take it then that both you and he did what I did today. Is not that so?
That's so. has been going on?
About 10 days.
10 days? Man alive. Then I guess Jack Stewart, the devil creature that we all loved, had put into her veins about a 4-shot man. Man alive, her whole body weight. What took it out?
That is the crux. Van Helsing and I are simply frantic about it, and on our wits' end. I can't even hazard a guess. She's dying. Not be long. Come, my dear old fellow, summon all your courage. It will be best and easiest for her. Not on your life, not for her living soul or yours. I swear. Now come, my child. Take her hand in yours. He's one he wants. It is over. She is dead.
Shortly after Lucy's death, the following article appears in the newspaper. The Westminster Gazette, 25 September, extra special, the Hampstead Horror. Another child injured by the Blueford Lady. We have just received the intelligence that another child, missed last night, was only discovered late in the morning under a furze bush at the Shearsville side of Hampstead Heath. It had the same tiny wound in the throat as has been noticed in other cases. It was terribly weak and looked quite emaciated. It too, when partially restored, had the common story to tell of being lured away by the Blueford Lady.
Nina and Jonathan have now returned from home. They are married, and Jonathan has received promotion to full partner after the death of his former boss. Jonathan has blocked from his conscious memory the events in Castle Dracula. He gives his journal to Nina, telling her only to read it if there is some dire need. He only seems back to normal until
Do you see who it is?
No, dear. Who is it? I don't know him.
It is the man himself. I believe it to be the Count. But he has grown young. God help us if this be so. If only I knew. If only I knew.
Come, dear. Let's go home.
Jonathan is better after a bad night. I'm so glad he has plenty of work to do, for that keeps his mind off the terrible things. He'll be away all day till late, for he said he could not lunch at home. My household work is done, so I shall take his foreign journal and lock myself up in my room and read it. 24th September. I hadn't the heart to write last night. That terrible record of Jonathan's upset me so. Poor dear, how he must have suffered, whether it be true or only imagination. I wonder if there is any truth in it at all. Did he get his brain fever and then write all those terrible things? Or had he some cause for it all? I suppose I shall never know, for I dare not open the subject to him. And yet that man we saw yesterday, he seemed quite certain of him. Poor fellow, he believed it all himself. I remember how on her wedding day he said unless some solemn duty come upon me to go back to the bitter hours, asleep or awake, mad or sane, there seems to be through it all some thread of continuity. That fearful Count was coming to London. If it should be, and he came to London, with its teeming millions, there may be a solemn duty, and if it come, we must not shrink from it. I shall be prepared. I shall get my typewriter this very hour, and begin transcribing. Then we shall be ready for other eyes if required. I shall send a transcript of the journal to Van Helsing to ask for his opinion.
We have a grave duty to be done tonight. I want your permission to do what I think is right. It is much of a task, I know. And when you find out what it is, you will know, too, how much
that much. Therefore, I ask that you promise me in the dark, so that afterwards, though you may be mad with me for some time, you will not blame yourselves for anything.
That's frank anyhow. Answer for the professor. I don't quite see his drift, but he's honest, and that's good enough for me.
Dr. Van Helsing, I don't quite like to buy a pig in a poke, as they say in Scotland. But if it is anything with which my honor as a gentleman, or my faith as a Christian is concerned, I cannot make such a promise. But if you can assure me that what you intend does not violate either of these two, then I give my consent at once. Though for the life of me, I cannot see what you are driving at.
I accept your limitation, and all that I ask of you is that if you feel it necessary to condemn any act of mine, you will first consider it well, that it does not violate any of your reservations.
Agreed. That is only fair. Now what, may I ask, are we to do?
I want you to come with me, and in secret, to the churchyard at Kingstead.
Where poor Lucy is buried? And when there?
To enter the tomb.
Professor, are you in earnest, or is this some monstrous joke? Pardon me, I see that you are in earnest. And when in the tomb?
To open the coffin.
I am willing to be patient in all things that are reasonable, but in this desecration of the grave of one who...
If I could spare you one pang, my poor friend, God knows I would. But this night, our feet must walk in thorny paths, or the feet of the one you love must walk the paths of flames forever.
Take care, sir, take care.
Will not be well to hear what I have to say. Shall I go on?
That's fair enough.
If Miss Lucy is dead, is it not so? Then there can be no wrong to her. But if she's not dead...
What do you mean? Has there been any mistake? Has she been buried alive?
I did not say alive. I would not think of it. I only go as far to say that she may be undead.
Undead? Not alive? What do you mean? Is this all a nightmare, or what is it?
There are mysteries in this world which men can only guess at. We are on the verge of one now, but I have not finished. May I cut off the head of dead Miss Lucy?
Heavens and earth, no! Not for the wide world would I consent to any mutilation of her dead body. Dr. Van Helsing, you try me too far. Don't dare think of such desecration. I do not give my consent to anything you do. I have a duty to do in protecting her grave, and by God I shall do it.
My Lord Bonamy, I too have a duty to do. A duty to others, a duty to the dead, and a duty to you. And by God, I shall do it. All I ask of you is that you come with me, and you look and listen. And when I make the same request, that you not be more eager for its fulfillment than you and I. But I beseech you, do not go forth in anger with me. Through a long life of acts which did wring my heart, I have never had one such heavy as now.
Oh, it is hard to think of it, and I cannot understand, but I will at least go with you and wait.
Tell me, my friend,
My work? You will, friend. There's no horror like this ever anymore.
she's too strong at night. You must be back in the morning.
The trial is unharmed. I will take her to the police.
Before we do anything, I must say this. When the undead become as so, there comes with the curse of immortality. They cannot die, but must go on, age after age, adding victims and multiplying evils of this world. The most blessed of all, when this undead become true dead, then the soul of the one that we love will be set free. And the more blessing, the hand that will set her free. To this I am willing. But is there none amongst us who have a better right? Nobody that she herself would have chosen if it was her to choose?
My true friend, whose amount of my broken heart, I thank you.
Tell me what I'm to do, and I shall not falter.
A brave lad, a moment's courage, and it is done. This stake must be driven through. It will be a fearful ordeal, but only for a short time. Then you will rejoice more than your pain great. So take this stake in your left hand, and ready it over your heart, and the hammer in your right, and strike in God's name, so that the soul of the one we love may be free.
quickly. Look, Lucy has been saved and looks at peace. Now, my friends, the first part of our mission is done. This was the most horrid and the greater task is ahead of us. We must find the author of all this pain and sorrow and strike him down. I have clues that we can follow. It is a long task. It is a difficult one, and there is much fear and pain. Will you join me on this quest? 2 nights from now, we shall meet and dine with friend Jonathan at 7 o'clock. I will have our plans ready and our plans went forward.
Van Helsing to me now. I have read your husband is so wonderful, diary. You may sleep without doubt. Strange and terrible as it is true. I will pledge my life on it. It may be worse for others, but for him and you, there is no dread. He is a noble fellow, and let me tell you from experience of men, that one who would do as he did in going down that wall into that river, and going a second time, is not one to be injured in permanence by a shock. His brain and his heart are all right. This I swear, before I have even seen him, so be at rest. I shall have much to ask you of other things. Please, both of you, come to Dr. Stewart's home, and I will reveal the truth to you.
Has everyone become acquainted with the facts of these papers? Then I think it good to tell you something of the kind of enemy that we have to deal with. There are beings such as vampires. Some of us have evidence they exist. They do not die like a demon they steam once. He is only stronger. Being stronger, have more power to work evil. This vampire, which is amongst us, is himself as strong as in person as 20 men. He is very cunning. He can direct the weather, he can command the animals, and he can grow and become small. He can at times vanish and come unknown. How then are we to begin our strike to destroy him? How shall we find his where, and having found him, how can we destroy him? My friends, this is a terrible task that we undertake, and there may be consequence to make the brave shudder. But to fail here is not mere life or death, but we are face to face with a duty. In such case, must we shrink? For me, I say no. But then I am old. You are young. Some have seen sorrow, but there are fair days yet in store. What say you?
I answer yes, for Mina and for myself.
Count me in, Professor. I am with you, for Lucy's sake, if for no other reason. I am with you.
Now let us consider the restrictions of the power of the vampire. He may not enter anywhere at first, unless there be someone of the household who bid him to come, though afterwards he can come as he please, and his power ceases, as does all evil things, at the coming of the day.
Is it true that he can only change form at noon, or at exact sunrise or sunset? And that he can only pass running water at the slack or the flood of the tide?
Yes, both are true.
What about garland and sacred things, like a consecrated communion or holy water?
He will be repelled by them.
Supposing I was to put a bowl of it.
A sacred bullet would kill him, and as for the stake through him, we already know of its peace, or the cut off of the head that giveth rest. Thus, when we find him, we can confine him to his coffin and destroy him, if we obey what we know. We know from the inquiry of Jonathan from the castle to Whitby came 50 boxes of earth, all of which were delivered at Carfax. We also know that at least some of these boxes have been removed. It seems to me that we must find and sterilize all the boxes with holy things, so he have no place to rest. Then we must kill them.
The men go first to Carfax, where they find and sterilize 29 50 boxes of earth. Then they set out to track down the other boxes to houses in Mile End, Bermondsey, and Piccadilly, planning to await the count at his house in Piccadilly.
Look out for D. He has just now, 12:45, come from Carfax hurriedly and hastened towards the south. He seems to be going the round and may want to see me.
Now, God be thanked, we shall soon meet.
God will work in his own way.
If I could wipe out this brute for an everlasting end and bring him to everlasting hell, I would do it.
How did it go?
We destroyed our 12 boxes at the other 2 houses.
Are you sure 12?
Quite certain. We destroyed 8 here plus her 12, and the 29 at Carfax still leaves 1.
We must do nothing. There is nothing now to do but wait. If Dracula does not show up by 10 or 5 o'clock, we must go to meet and protect her.
He's here. Have all your arms ready.
He has jumped out the window. It is the devil's work. You think to baffle me, you with your pale faces on the road, like sheep in a butcher's shop. You'll be sorry yet, each one of you. You think you have left me without a place to rest, but I have more. My revenge has just begun, and time is on my side. I have spread it over centuries. And the girls that you love are mine already. My creatures, to do my bidding, to be my jackals when I thirst.
Quickly, to the gate, after him. It's locked.
They discovered to their horror that Dracula has been visiting Nina in her sleep and has given her the vampire's baptism by forcing her to drink some of his blood. This means she will turn, little by little, into a vampire in his service. Van Helsing tries to protect her by touching her forehead with a crucifix, but it burns her, leaving it behind a red mark. They also discovered the missing box was held in readiness for an escape, and that Dracula has now entered the box and given instructions for it to be returned to Transylvania.
But why need we seek a brother when he has gone away from us?
Because, my dear Madalena, now more than ever we must find him, even if we have to fall into the jaws of hell.
Why?
Because he can live for centuries. You are but a mortal being. Time is now to be dreaded, since once you put that mark upon your
Is it really necessary?
Yes, it's necessary. This monster has done much harm already. He hath infected you so that when you die, you become like him. We have sworn together that this must not be. Thus, we are ministers of God's own wish, that the world and men for whom his son died would not be given over to monsters, whose very existence would go to defend him. He has allowed us to redeem one soul already, and we go out like the old knights of the cross to redeem more.
In that case, I want you all to bear something in mind. Through all this dreadful time, I know that you must fight, that you must destroy, even as you destroyed the false Lucy, so that the true Lucy might live hereafter. But it is not a work of hate. That poor soul who has brought all that misery is the saddest case of all. Just think what might be his joy when he too is destroyed in his worship heart, so that his better part might have spiritual immortality. Just you should pity him, though it may not hold your hands from his destruction.
May God give him into my hand. May God give him into my hands for just long enough to destroy that earthly life of him which we are aiming at. If beyond it I could send his soul to everlasting hell, I would do it.
Oh hush, Jonathan! My husband, don't say such things, or you will crush me with fear and horror. Just think, my dear, perhaps someday I too may need such pity, and that some other, like you, and with equal cause for anger, will deny it to me. Please pursue him in mercy, not hate.
Good. Then they will not be able to get you.
Fear for me, why fear for me? None safer in all the world from them than I.
Come, sister. Come to us.
Come. You must join us anyway. Come.
I will never join you. My friends will destroy you soon and release me. See the sun rises, away with you.
Let's go to the castle alone and kill those vampires.
Please don't go.
Must. It's my duty.
Please be careful and return to me. Too much. Come away from this awful place. Let's go meet my husband, who I know is coming towards us.
They pursue him across Europe, trying to get to him while he is still in his box and not yet home. But he is tricky and always a step ahead of him. Dracula cannot move till the sunset, which is quickly approaching. To try and track him, they are forced to split into 3 parties. Finally, as they get closer and closer to home, poor Mina becomes more vampire-like. They prepare for the final showdown.
Look, there they go. Towards the sunset. We must hurry. We may be too late.
Look! See 2 men follow fast coming up from the south. It must be Quincy and Jonathan.
And look to the north. That must be Dr. Seward and Lord Goldman. Must hurry. Halt! Back off! Back! Before you wait.
No! Please don't die!
I'm only too happy to have been of service. Oh, praise God. Dying for this. Your forehead is more stainless than the snow. The curse has passed away.
And the happiness of some of us, we think, well worth the pain we endured. It is an added joy to Mina and to myself that our boy's birthday is the same day as that on which Quincy Morris died. His mother holds, I know, the secret belief that some of our brave friend's spirit has passed into him. His bundle of names links all our little band of men together, but we call him Quincy. We were struck with the fact that in all the mass of material of which the record is composed, there is nothing others would accept as proof of. We could hardly ask anyone, even did we wish so, to accept these as proof of so wild a story. Von Helsing summed it up, as he said, with our boy on his knee.
We want no proofs and we ask none to believe us. This boy will someday know what a brave and gallant woman his mother was. Already he knows her sweetness and loving care. Later on he will understand how some men loved her so, and did dare much for her sake.
As narrator and messenger, Jason Mark as
gypsies. Elizabeth Coke and Elizabeth Crawford as narrators, gypsies, and London fashioners. Lily Couch as narrator, gypsy, Londoner, and also assisting with sound, and Lance Kiongo as narrator, passenger, and London fashioner. Aaron Cumming, narrator and chief scene director. Ethan Rowe, gypsy and assistant scene director. Grace Martin, Londoner and scene design team. Babisak, narrator and servant. Edna Burke is our innkeeper. Caleb Babisak, carriage driver and Londoner. Samuel Taylor as the old man and a narrator. Mary Stark, Miriam Kieser, and Julia Boku as Our Lady Vamps. Roy Kuna as Dr. John Seward. Texan Quincy Morris. David York, Jonathan Harker. As Rena Harker. Arthur Dunjak playing Arthur Holmwood. as Count Dracula. Thanks to Burkett Ricchini and Julia Hitz running our spotlight and our sound system. In the program, you'll see a long list of names of people that help build the set, paint the set, design things, make costumes, so on and so forth, so you can read through those as well. And the final person I want to introduce is my assistant director, and she also narrated in this as well, but Ella Rivers.
Again,